Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Radish and Bunday podcast thing that we do. How are you, John?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. It's been a. When was our last one? Before Christmas, wasn't it?
Before
Trying to
Christmas.
work it. So it's a bit bit of a longer gap, isn't it? Yeah, been good. Christmas was nice. I turned 40. Or was I 40 then as well?
How was it?
Now I'm starting to feel older, to be honest with you.
You're
Older,
old as
grumpier,
old.
bolder, fatter, everything really. Just all catching up with me now.
For those who are listening and not watching, it's all lies.
Oh no, John, I'm going downhill quickly now. Age is catching up. How old are you now, John? Ish. You don't have to say exactly.
I actually have to keep reminding myself. think I'm turning 38 this year.
You think? Thereabouts.
Yeah, I kind of lost track because I lose track. It's
So we're basically both old bastards then.
Yeah. Because we're old.
We are old. But we're still children, really, because we like computer games.
It's good to have a hobby.
It is. It keeps me out of trouble and off the streets.
Well, yeah, that's what I say to my wife. I'm playing these games. It means that I'm not like down the pub talking to other
Strippers
women
and doing cocaine in toilets and things like that. It's all for the greater good. Yeah. So I suppose, did you have a nice Christmas? I should ask.
Yeah, it was.
I think I have, but good.
It was very good. Didn't get any games because my wife has no idea, game wise, what to buy me. So, and she doesn't know what consoles I have, and she would want to, so it's like easier just not to get stuff, and I don't ask it. Oh, I want this. So it's so the days of me unwrapping a computer game are long gone. I don't know if. How about you? Did you get anything?
My wife got me another Switch.
Oh, really?
She got me the mine's a launch one, and it is really
showing its age.
Turn it on, and it sounds like it's about to die. So she bought me that as like sort of half birthday kind of Christmas present. But I got it on. Did I get it on my birthday or Christmas? I can't remember, but I got it. Yeah, so it was nice. It's much nicer. And then they announced Switch 2.
Yeah, and then they announced Switch 2 because everyone was talking about it, and there were leaks and stuff. So I don't think they were going to until April, and it's all just been like, well, yeah, it exists, but you have to wait till April.
Yeah. But I've actually done absolutely loads of gaming.
Good.
Since loads more than I have done for probably a few years. I've been lots to talk about on that front, John. But I'll start with you because I know you've completed lots of games already, and it's not even February yet.
At time of recording,
I'll be out before February, John.
Okay.
I'll be editing this 2 days. What's that? So we'll still be in January. It's fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Right. So game wise, so I've beaten 7 games so far. Only one of which is a proper RPG. So for those, you're in the 12 RPG challenge chat, but for the watchers and listeners, so the first one of the games I've beaten is a Game Boy Color aftermarket / homebrew game called Dragonheim, which, if you follow the homebrew scene at all for the Game Boy, I think it might be considered the first homebrew physical release, or at least one of the first, which was called Dragonborn, which was just a black and white RPG. This is originally it was going to be DX, in other words, just a color hack, but no, it ended up being completely redone. Even the dev said he's not sure if there's any of the original code in this game compared to the original. So it's, to me, I think it might be one of the best Game Boy games I've ever played. It's just
wow.
Yeah, do be right. It's not like it's groundbreaking in for the RPG genre. It's not that, but for what you're doing on the Game Boy, I really enjoyed it, and because I thought initially when I heard about it, I was like, well, because I beat Dragonborn 2 years ago. Yeah, I did as part of the 52 challenge, and the first year I did it in 2023. So I'm like, do I want to play the same game again, just in color? But then when I heard more about it, and then it got done as part of the QA program that I'm a part of. So they're like, oh, here's a ROM for free. Great. And
Mm.
I even found one of the bugs in the game that they're having to
Are you
patch.
in the credits, John?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh, you should have asked. I want to be in the credits.
Nah, we testers are never added to the credits of the games, so I seriously doubt it. But
You should change that. You should.
we should mutiny.
Yeah, you should just get a union and change how it's done.
Yeah, well, we do
If you
get paid.
found a bug, you help fix that game.
Well, no, we get paid in the release ROM, as in the one that if you were to buy the game digitally, we get that for free. So, yeah, and so the reason why I've managed to beat 7 games is because I was playing that in the evenings when I was watching TV with my wife. I'll be playing that. Another one of the 7 was another Game Boy game called Frasier Fantasy.
It's a dodgy game.
It is someone had. It won't surprise you to hear it's a homebrew game, but someone has taken the TV show Frasier and made it into an RPG.
Wow.
So instead of Final Fantasy, Frasier Fantasy, it's only just like under an hour long. And I have encountered part of like the 12 RPG challenge because I'm doing deliberately one per system, and for me an hour long is too short to really count as like a 12 part of 12 RPG chat, which is why I'm not talking about this one in that chat. But it's this clearly had a lot of love went into its development. Like, if you're a fan of the show, like there's so many like references and nods and follows the same humor. It doesn't just lift jokes outright, but it uses the same style of humor, and which I felt really works. Like you want to host like a dinner party, but there are 3 things you have to do before it can be done. The first of which is to get your dad and his dog out of the flat, which is like a recurring thing about his dad and the dog living there. The second is you have to go and do some call-ins on your talk show or for the radio. And the third of which is to retrieve, and I kid you not, your grape scissors from your brother Niles. So
Grape scissors
yeah, great.
to cut grapes.
I believe so.
Well, actually, you're saying that you probably have to do this if you. With my kids, you're made to cut grapes in half
Yes.
so they don't choke on them and die.
Yeah.
Like my son loves grapes. He'd eat them all day, every day,
Mhm.
and he pretty much does, which I'm okay with because it's fruit and
Yeah.
it's not shite. So yeah, I could actually see the use in grape scissors.
Yeah. I think that
My brain's turned around on that immediately. I might see if I can get some.
maybe there's a legitimate reason for it. So it's just I've never heard of the things. I think at one point they do reference Victorian, so maybe it is like maybe they do, or it's just a joke on the part of the creator. But
I don't know. I'm gonna look after for grape scissors.
get a pair.
I might get a pair because I do. I'm always cutting them with a knife, and it's quite dangerous
Mhm.
because they're little things, and
Yep.
I wash them because I'm
Yes.
a good person and I know to do that. And they're a bit slippery, and it would only take a little slip, John,
Yep.
and you could end up with
Okay.
with your hand missing or something, or your finger or a thumb or something. But that sounds quite cool, actually. That game, I like the concept of it being made around Fraser, and I suppose I was going to say, copyright-wise, I don't suppose anyone could be bothered to do anything about that if it's just a homebrew.
Yeah, it's up on itch.io for those who want to check it out. I mean, if you just Google Frasier Fantasy Game Boy, you'll find it straight away. So but yeah, like I say, it's just an hour. I shoved it on my flash cartridge, my Game Boy, and again played that while watching TV with the missus. So, which is so that's 2 games out of the 7, and then like the other times is like in the evenings. But one of the big ones that I've played is Jet Set Radio. Future for the Xbox.
Yeah, I bought that when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got it
I
anymore, but I bought it then.
Yeah, I bought it a couple of years ago. It's been getting higher in price. So my copy is technically a German one, but it's all in English on the disc. So
It's a good game though, very good.
mm-hmm.
I
Need to
played
remaster.
the kind of spiritual kind of, well, I wouldn't, not even the successor, but cyberpunk.
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
That's the one. Yeah, it's not a Jet Set Radio to me. It's not got the level of, I don't know. It didn't click with me. But I love Jet Set Radio on the Dreamcast and the Xbox. But something didn't gel with me with cyberpunk, whatever it's called, Bomb Rush.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it yet, but I kept saying, cause I would like to play it, but I've been saying ever since it got announced, like, oh, I wouldn't play this until I'd actually played Jet Set Radio Future, because I played the HD release of the Dreamcast one like 5 years ago or so.
Okay.
I've never owned an Xbox until last year, and I got a 360, and it's part of like the backwards compatibility, that you do 360 to emulate. But I found out when I popped the disc into the console, you need to have a proper 360 hard drive in the console to do the emulation, because it turns out the emulation program is on those hard drives, not on the console itself. So
Really?
yep. So I can play the game, and then
So what have you got? A memory card for it?
No, it's so depending on which model of 360 you have, because I accidentally got the wrong hard drive for my model. So I got a Slim, which is like one of the later ones.
Yeah, it's not the one I got now.
Yeah, the earlier ones, the hard drives would clip onto the side.
Yeah.
Whereas the Slim, you actually have to open up a hatch on the bottom of the console, and then you put the drive in, so it goes inside of it. And those ones are, I say, more expensive. Like for 20 gig old style is 50p from CAX. That's what I went for originally, because now that the Xbox store is shut down, unless if you could do some kind of download of the games or something from the internet to stick it on this thing, then I don't need the space. I'm just using it for the emulator. Whereas the one I got for the Slim, which was a 250 gig, was £8. So, still not that bad, but it's just
pretty cheap.
Yeah, still just annoying the fact that I had to get something extra just to allow the emulation to work. But yeah, it was worth it. So
yeah, definitely to play Jet Set Radio, I would think that's worth it.
Yeah, because apparently the reason we're not getting it re-released and why it wasn't added to the later Xbox's backward compatibility program they did for like the one or the one after that, I think it's due to music licensing by the sounds of it, which would make sense. So
yeah, it's like with Tony Hawk's and stuff, isn't it? They have to change some of the music and stuff, I think, on the remasters, which is one of the biggest parts of those games. The music is awesome.
Yeah, but enough about me. What have you been playing?
Lots, John. No, lots and lots. But I'll start off with what I played kind of over Christmas. I went Black Friday shopping, which is always dangerous. I got Balatro. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's like a card game based off. It's basically like using poker hands to. It's like almost like a roguelike as well. It's really good. It's very addictive.
It's not Balatro, is it?
Oh, is that what it's called?
Balatro, yeah. That's
probably Balatro.
Balatro, yeah. That's hugely, like, insanely popular at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's I'm just a bit thick though. I'm not very good at it. Whether it means I'm not good at counting or working out how to use the jokers.
Gambling.
Yeah, I'm not good at gambling. That's why I don't gamble, to be fair. But it is fun. And I just pick it up every now and again, play it for sort of 20, 30 minutes and have a run or get as far as I can. So that's been quite fun to pick up and play. And the other Switch game I played sort of over Christmas was Spiritfarer.
Ooh, I've heard of that. Not tried it, but heard about it.
Yeah, where you basically take over from death, and you are to guide people to the afterlife. So
Hmm.
you go around in this little boat that you can build up and add farms and stuff, and you basically got to make people happy, fulfill their kind of
Yep.
requests, and then you send them packing, kind of thing. It's really good. It's really chilled out, and I'm quite far into that. So not quite an RPG though, more of a sim. So, but that, yeah, really good. The art on it is amazing. The writing's really good. Music's great. It's well worth picking up.
Hmm. Excellent. So, because I've heard like that one can get very emotional in sense of like the feelings it will stir in the players, because of the stories that you're hearing from
I
the
haven't had that yet.
your. Mhm.
I haven't had that yet, John. Maybe I've just got no. Maybe I'm just cold-hearted or something. But I mean, it's quite. You can go up to the characters and give them a hug and stuff. And yeah, I suppose it is maybe a little bit kind of. Yeah, it's very. I find it quite sort of. It's very cozy.
Mhm.
Very cozy. But yeah, there's some sad bits in there, I suppose. Maybe I've been looking at it wrong. Just I'm gonna I'm gonna build my ship up.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we've got two of yours, or three, is it down?
That's yeah. I don't know if you want to necessarily go through all of them.
Yeah,
Or
let's go through them all, John. Let's catch up.
okay.
Let's get to date. Up to date.
So the very first game I won't mention yet because that's our topic for later.
Mm.
But the second game I beat, if I'm going chronologically, was one called Mouthwashing, which I don't know if you have heard of that.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
Yeah, so they are going for PS1 aesthetic. Is in like that kind of low texture kind of polygon characters and models and all that kind of stuff. Um, it's in the horror genre,
Yeah.
and it's not very long. I think it was about 3 hours to 4 hours. I think it took to beat it, but the game. The synopsis I say is you are on a freight haulage spaceship. In other
Right.
words, you're part of a crew which you work for a company that just does hauling freight, but you're in space. And
Mm.
your missions could take over a year to haul this stuff from wherever to wherever. Okay. So at the very start of the game, you hit an asteroid and shenanigans ensues, shall we say. And I don't really want to say more of that because otherwise I will ruin the experience. So it is, but just keep in mind, like I said, this is in the horror genre. So yeah, mouthwashing.
I just had a quick look now, just to look at the kind of it looks quite interesting. I've got to say,
Mm.
I've heard of it. I've heard people talk about it. I've just never had sort of done any more research on it. But it looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What are you playing it on?
I
PC.
was on a PC. I don't know if it's on console because I haven't done them, but there are some achievements which involve they deliberately want you to do some like coming out of the game and going to like the console or whatever to like cause some stuff to happen. Like that's an achievement to like mess around, which I
Oh,
think Doki Doki Literature Club had that as well for the PC version, but then that came to console, so I'm not
yeah.
sure how they did the achievements for that. So I guess maybe it might come to console and they will just do something else instead for that particular achievement. But anyway, but yeah, so it's to my knowledge, it's just currently on PC. So
Mm. Yeah, interesting.
hmm.
Is it Steam or?
Oh yeah, Steam.
Yeah. Oh, I'll add that to my wish list, and I'll wait for the. Well, it'll be the summer sale now, probably, or the Easter sale.
Well, they kind of got the Lunar sale, so you never know. I mean, I'm guessing you're looking at the Steam page at the moment. It's not on sale.
No, I'm not actually, John, because if I go on there, I'll get distracted. I spent enough on the Steam sale over the winter one.
Okay. All right.
Any
So
more?
then one that I beat today.
Oh,
If I pronounce this right, Tamaashi, which is a. I heard about this because Ross Borhaha, he threw out into the group the 52 challenge group, not as in like to do for the month, but he said like, oh, he wants to play it and maybe do a video about it. But it's so if anyone wants to give it a try, and I was like, okay, apparently you can beat it in like 2.5 hours. It's again, it comes under like the horror genre. It is a puzzle platformer,
Right.
2D style, and you are created by a god to go and get rid of the corruption within his temple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your main mechanics are that you can jump and double jump, and then you can create up to 3 clones of yourself who just stand there, unless if you hit certain switches which will move them left and right. So the puzzling aspect is kind of like getting from one end of the room to the other, or getting your clones on particular switches to open the door that's elsewhere in the room. And then there's things like obstacles you have to try and get around or do things in a certain order. So yeah, but there's also like a bunch of like with mouthwashing, where I said you have to kind of like not break the game, but like do things that you not necessarily you would normally do for a game. This has a bunch of achievements like that, where the game is breaking the fourth wall, where the dev is actually talking literally to you, you know, so things like that. But those are the kind of extra achievements. So, but yeah, it's I really enjoyed it actually. It took me about 2 hours to do. So it comes down to how good you are with puzzle games. But after doing Sojourn last year, which was just a pure puzzle game, this was like light work in comparison to that. So
yeah, I'm not so hot on puzzle games. I struggle with them, to be honest with you.
I mean, if you look it up, so it's if you start typing, it is TAM.
No, TAM.
AS.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming up, I think.
And it should have double I at the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there's a board game of it as well, apparently.
Is there? Okay, wasn't aware of that.
Oh, maybe I got the wrong thing. But it's got a double I at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll have a look into that as well.
Otherwise, we're friends on Steam, so you can just look at my, like, you know, you can see the activity of your friends.
What you're currently playing.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see like
or what you've played recently.
Yeah. Because I've got a bunch of achievements that will be on that list.
Yeah. Definitely some variety there, John.
That's... I always like to jump around genres. I don't like to play the same thing over and over again. I've said on this podcast before about how I don't like to play sequels straight after or stick with the same genre, maybe not even stick with the same console, you know, or PC or something. Like, I like to jump around, like variety in that way. So, which is quite good. Like RPG, horror, puzzles, you know, it's a nice mix of things. So, okay,
Very
you
good.
anything else?
I picked up. I got a voucher from work. I think it was possibly. I picked up Kirby and the Forgotten Realm. I think it's called, or Land.
Oh, a friend of mine just beat that.
It is amazing. It genuinely is one of the best 3D platformers I've played in since, to be honest with you, Super Mario Odyssey. It's up there with that. It's a little bit easier. It's a bit easy, maybe, but it's great. You've got maybe not necessarily. It's not necessarily kind of open world. It is going from level to level, and you've got a hub world. But it kind of gives me maybe kind of I don't know why GameCube vibes, but with really it's really polished. It's super polished. The graphics look great. You know, the levels are really well designed, and it's just fun. You can eat the enemies, and it changes you into like basically like a Kirby Link, or you can turn into like a little dude with a gun, and it's just great fun, and just not really a challenge. It is just enjoyable. Again, quite relaxing. Nowhere near as hard as some of the later Mario Odyssey stuff. But yeah, like I could see my kids playing that and being able to finish it. I'm right at the end of that one. And I sometimes when I get close to the end of games I'm really enjoying, I almost pull back because I don't want to finish them.
You want it to end.
And I did that with Tears of the Kingdom.
Mhm.
the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I started to really get into it, and for some reason, I just stopped. I was like, I don't want to finish this because I was heartbroken when I finished Breath of the Wild because I just felt I had this like hollow kind of. I just couldn't find anything to fill the void
Yeah.
afterwards. Trouble is, it's been like a year and I haven't gone back to it now.
Mm.
But yeah,
Mhm.
Kirby, fantastic, and just for something different, I did pick up some games on the Steam sale. Quite a
Mhm.
few. I've not even started to really touch them. One is Tiny Glade,
Okay.
which you've probably seen that I've done a couple of videos of.
Mhm.
It is basically a very small sandbox, and you just build castles, kind of medieval villages. It's very there's no goals, there's no targets, there's nothing, no structure to it other than the fact
Mhm.
you can just do what you want in this very small glade. And you get a few very little tools. There's not a huge amount you can do. A little bit with the terrain, a little bit with buildings, but the idea is almost like a bit like kind of like a Lego diorama. You would just add these things together and then create your own little little cool diorama. It's really good fun. It's super relaxing, great after a shit day at work.
Mhm.
So that one is definitely a game I'd recommend for anyone who wants to play something kind of, you know, just to calm you down.
And as of recording, you have 2 episodes of you playing this on your channel.
I do. I've got more stuff to put up. It's just getting time to put it
Mhm.
up. It's just, yeah. Even my son saw it the other day, and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" I was
Mhm.
like, I showed him. He's like, "Nah, too." I think he's probably more likely to be ready for Minecraft than he would
Yeah.
this because it is more kind of probably too slower paced for him.
Sure.
But there we are. Yeah, it's it not. It's. I don't think it might even run on your PC, John.
I mean, I think problem is I don't know if I'm ever in the mood for a game like that. I like games where I know there's an end goal, like where like there's credits, like I get to the end. Whereas I've never ever touched Minecraft, and I've never been interested. I've never felt the urge to play it, even though I
You're missing out, John. Minecraft's worth a go.
I just like, oh, you can build stuff and create stuff. I'm like, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why people love it. I do. It's just I don't think it's for me because I'd rather like say play a game where I know that I will hit the credits and then have the experience and then move on. Whereas a game like this, at one point you stop. If you want, let's say, if you're stuck on a desert island, great. You just keep creating things as long as you want. But while I've got so many games in my backlog, I'm just like on a mission just to kind of like carve through like all those, and try and reduce that huge mountain of like Steam games and like the games sat on the shelf. So
Yeah, well, 7 a month. You're gonna.
I
Yeah.
doubt I'll be able to. Playing the Game Boy RPG has meant that I had the rest of the time to play other games. Whereas when I play other RPGs that require me to either be at the PC or on a console, it will definitely go down. This is not a trend that you're going to see through the year. So yeah,
You'll average 4 a week, 4 a month.
it will go up and down. Like last year when I started doing the 12 RPG challenge, there were some months where I barely completed anything, or it'll be the game that had been picked by the 52 group for that month just to play it and have that. Otherwise, it was just mainly just like for example, Skies of Arcadia. That was like 40 to 50 hours, or Breath of Fire 3. Try to remember how long that one took. Some of these games did take a good chunk of time. Oh, Lost Odyssey, that one took ages to finish. So yeah,
It's a big game.
so it's I've done. It seems like I've done a lot now, but it's because of just playing in the evenings on the Game Boy. Whereas I've started playing today, South Park's Stick of Truth.
Oh, yes, great game.
So I've just started that today, but I'll be playing on the PC. So when I have free time, I'll play that. Whereas, don't get me wrong, I might try and do some more Game Boy games just to like, because I got a bunch of homebrew ones that I still haven't got around to playing. So maybe I'll
So
do
you can
that.
so you can get those numbers up.
Yeah, I know. It's just I feel like if because some of them do tend to be very short, and I feel like I might be taking the piss by count like saying 40 of the games I've finished for the year are like ones that could be beaten in like 10 minutes to half an hour, for example. So
I don't know. You should. I think you should look at it as it doesn't. It shouldn't matter what games. A game is a game.
yeah, I know. It's just yeah, I don't know. Because technically, yeah, I am beating a game, but there's a difference between a officially made and released game that to the public, which okay, these are, but it's some of these are people's like a project they do as like a proof of concept, or like as it they have this one idea and then they'll do it and then release it, and it's like, oh, you could beat it in 10 minutes, but I don't know. If it's a game that you could just walk through, like if it's for example, when we did Fly of Picarus, technically, if you're good enough, you can beat the game in 7 minutes because you have the 2 minute level or the 5 minute level. But so you have to be skilled enough at shmups to be able to actually beat them. Versus beating a game that is 10 minutes long, but you literally just walk along, press a few buttons to talk a few people, and that's the end. I don't know. It's yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whilst I remember it, have you heard of Valheim?
The name rings a bell, but I'm struggling to picture what it is.
It is. I'm playing it with my friends, so we all agreed we'd start playing a game all together, and they're actually playing it now.
Oh yes.
So
While we're recording, you're like,
yeah. They were like, you
come
coming? Like, no, I'm doing a podcast. Sorry, guys. So I'm getting them to do it. Basically, it is a survival kind of game where you end up on an island. You're like Viking based, and you basically you've got to go and craft and kind of build a house. Build your tools, your armor, and stuff. So you get resources from the map, and you kind of the idea being that you explore outwards, and there is actually a story and a target and purpose. You'd be glad to know, John. You've got bosses, so we've taken down one boss so far, which basically unlocks more skills. And I have missed out quite a bit recently, so I think they've got a raft now, which I missed. And I believe, they are slightly more tooled up than me now, so I will be asking them to craft me some nice gear when I do get back into it. But it's quite basic in terms of looks, but the flexibility is you can just build a house anywhere. You can cut these trees down. Yeah. There's been a few accidents with people getting hit by trees, falling on them. But it's quite hard as well. It's not the easiest game in the world. But yeah, we've enjoyed that, and it's again, I think it's only PC you can play that on. But it's good fun.
You're enjoying that?
Yeah, really good fun.
Cool. Any other games you want to go through, or should we go to the main topic?
Well, I don't know if you know what I bought very recently.
I mean, you do show.
I buy lots of shit. I know.
So which one specifically you're referring to?
Yeah, I have.
Wait. Do you mean the console?
I bought a new console again. But in fairness, I am still selling stuff all the time because I have a finite amount of room really to put games in without without storing them away. So I do sell stuff, but I've actually been selling pretty much all my Pokemon cards, John. The whole thing has gone. It's gone really. Almost, it's all about making money. Loads of the people are just obsessed with the value of cards. Yeah, honestly, they're a bunch of arseholes. I mean, there's some nice ones there, of course, but you only have to look at Reddit. There's a Pokemon investing subreddit, and they literally fill their house and keep all the Pokemon products. They keep it sealed. And yeah, it does go up in value. It's probably a great way to invest. And everything that I bought just happens to have gone up. And I bought most of the stuff because I thought it looked cool. I just thought, do you know what? If I'm going to stop, because I'm not putting up with people, they put the prices up because there's demand for the product. It's just not for me. I'd rather sell it and put the money into games. And I thought, well, I spoke to my son because he does like the Pokemon cards, so I've left him a binder with some
Yeah.
nice cards. And he said, "Oh, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind the new Sonic trading cards that they brought out."
Okay.
Because he is obsessed with Sonic. And I got him that a binder, and I got him a few packs. He's well happy with that. So I put all that money, and I've managed to get a PS5 with a disc drive, because I'm not having a digital only console. That is when I do drop out of buying new stuff. And I've not spent a penny, and I've bought 6 games, 7 games, and it's all been covered by selling that crap, really. And I am very impressed with it so far.
Nice.
But I've only played one game on it so far properly, and that is Metaphor. Fantasio, which
Atlas.
it is. Yeah, it's hooked me. In fact, you're lucky. My friends are lucky that I'm
Still
ever
playing.
going to play Valheim again, because I'm that into it, and I just want to play it all the time. I've only dabbled with Persona and stuff before, and Shin Megami Tensei and stuff like that. This is superb. This has got me hook, line, and sinker, much like Atelier Ryza and Xenoblade. It just hits all my boxes.
Yeah.
Looks great. Probably not next gen. Probably not as good as it could be, but the art style and the general style of it is just amazing. So as soon as I finish this, John, I'm finally going to go for Persona 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm going to have to do it. I keep saying I'll save it for when I'm ready, but I'm going to be like 60 and going, I'll do it next year. So I'm going to do Persona. I need to finish the games that I've put aside just to save for a rainy day.
Yep. You have to take a page out of my book.
I do. I'm going to have to get through it. So I think I'll start being a bit more set. That is one of my, actually, what we're going to get into. Because you're done with...
I mean, there was one other game, but that was Ernest Evans on the Mega CD. So...
Ernest Evans?
Yes.
Is that a homebrew?
No, it was never released over here. So it was a Japanese exclusive Mega CD title, but got released as a Genesis game in America.
Right.
And never got either. So this is a game that was region locked to Japan, because the usual method that I use for converting games for PAL doesn't work with that, because they've got extra protection. So I had to get someone to strip that out. But also, because all the animated or anime style cutscenes have Japanese voiceovers, and there's no way I'm adding subtitles to that. I've not got the programming. I don't have a program, so I can't do that. But what I can do, though, is use a computer and use Audacity and redub them. So there is the Bunday dub of...
Wow.
So, yes, there is the Bunday dub. So I do all the voices, because luckily on YouTube there is actually a translation, subtitle translation of the cutscenes. Yeah. So it's just like, stick headphones on, hit play, hit record, and then just do voices for like the text coming along the bottom. So
how long has that taken you?
I did that before Christmas, so to be honest, it didn't take that long. It was only like 12 tracks, I think. And
okay.
It would have taken longer if I put more effort into it, like done more than just one take in some cases. But I'm not a voice actor, and I don't pretend to be professional. It's just doesn't make sense. So I'm
very impressed.
Well,
that's a crazy thing to do, but I'm very impressed.
Yeah, how many people can say that they got their voice in a computer game?
It's even better you've called it the Bunday dub as well.
No, it's not. It's not titled that on archive.org, but that's...
I think you should put it down. Bunday dub.
But yeah, so I did do that. So it was... For the majority, they were playing it. I had like the dryer or something on, so I didn't even get to hear my own voice, which is...
John, send me the link. We'll put it on the description so if people want to have a look.
And because before we started recording, I was exporting all the audio tracks for the game's sequel, another Japanese exclusive. That was what I
Are
was
we doing a
exporting.
Bunday dub?
Yeah, to do another Bunday
We're
dub.
doing a Bunday dub. Fantastic.
Yeah. So but that was the 6th. So and then the 7th is unless you got any other games.
No, probably, but I can't think of them. So let's go on your 7th, which is also a game I've been playing, funnily enough.
Yep. And it is Vanquish by Platinum Games.
Directed by Shinji Mikami
Shinji Mikami
of Resident Evil fame.
And I also unknowingly, until I got to the credits at the end, a game I beat before Christmas for the Club 52 monthly challenge because he directed Shadows of the Damned.
Yes.
A Studio 51 game, so yeah.
Yeah, another great game. Is it your first time playing Vanquish?
Yes. So
it's my third time, I think.
Third? Oh, wow, okay.
I played it on when it came out on the 360. I've played it went to Xbox One, possibly. And again, I went back to the 360 version this time.
Okay, yeah.
Because I haven't played it for a long time. I thought I'd give it a whirl. And it was quite weird going back because I haven't been to the 360 for years and years. And it was quite cool to go back. Good old trip down memory lane that was. But yes, I don't know how you describe it other than it's third person action.
So it's a third person cover based shooter.
That's the right word. I was just going to say shooter, but it's more cover than shooter, I suppose.
Because this is the 360 era where those were all the rage. So,
and unfortunately, I think part of the reason this has got lost and isn't as loved as it should be, and why we haven't got Vanquish 2.
Correct, because it does. Spoiler: it does end on a cliffhanger, which has, to my knowledge, never been resolved. So
no, but what is Mikami doing now? Just I know it's a bit of a sidestep there.
I mean,
I know he did the something. He did that horror series, didn't he? He did two games. What was it called?
Oh,
Evil Within. Something.
Evil Within, yes.
Yeah, I never played that, but it looked pretty good.
I mean, I suppose it's Sega who own the IP because they published it.
Yeah.
It's also Platinum Games if they want to. I suppose Sega could get another team, but really you probably have to get Platinum Games to do the sequel if they want to do it and have the time to do it, and then also get Shinji Mikami to come back to do it if he's not doing other stuff. So it's kind of like that trifecta. Maybe that's why we haven't had it, but I don't know how well it's sold though, because it's just I barely hear anyone mention it. Because I had this game in my Steam library without realizing because I got it as part of a bundle at some point, and because part of the 2023 52 challenge I played Binary Domain, also by Sega, and I was like, oh, I love this game so much. And then it was in the group chat, the 52 chat, Paul, Northerner, was like, oh, if you enjoy that, you should play Vanquish. And I was like, oh, cool. Oh, I already own this. I should play it. And then we were discussing what games to do next. And then did I mention it or did you mention Vanquish?
I think it was me, wasn't it? I think you maybe brought up Binary Domain, which led me into Vanquish, because that is I think I mentioned that is my favorite of what I call my kind of tri-action favorite games of that area, which is Binary Domain, Vanquish, and Bayonetta. Bayonetta is obviously more Devil May Cry kind of beat 'em uppy. Well worth playing, but yeah, Vanquish was my favorite. I loved all three of them, but Vanquish, I just loved it. It was like just perfect for me, and I was surprised. Like I said, I think if it came out now, there is less competition. You don't really see a huge amount of action.
Not
games these days.
Because I described it as when I started playing it, this is balls to the wall action,
It certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it still looks pretty bloody good as well, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because I was playing it on PC. and I thought it looked fantastic.
Yeah, and I was thinking, do you know what? One of the best chances we've got of a sequel is probably Nintendo.
Because they did that for Bayonetta.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, they have a good relationship with Platinum Games even.
Yeah, they do.
But would they? I mean, are they really into shooters like that? I mean, Nintendo.
I'd never put money in them doing Bayonetta 2 and 3,
Yeah.
and they did that side one.
The 100 or
Cerise's.
something.
Oh, Wonderful 101.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, they do go off war. I think. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they probably won't, will they? They've got enough big franchises to sort of worry about.
We're a couple of generations ahead now, so it's do we want to revive this game? Because I mean, it's still, as far as I'm aware, it's still available. Like you can buy it on Steam, of course, but I'm assuming it's still available for consoles on modern marketplaces. I guess I don't know. If it's on
You can get the remaster with Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can definitely get that for PS4. Could do with it if they brought it out for Switch or Switch 2. I'd totally buy it again. I love it. It's a game that I think I could always go back to. And what I never picked up on my other 2 playthroughs, John, it's like a shmup.
Which actually has a shmup as part of the credits.
But if you think about it, so much of it is, like you said, it's so in your face with bullets. I mean, the cover obviously isn't like a typical shmup, but it gave me that kind of same feeling where you had to be constantly focused. You had to be constantly thinking about what you're going to do. And I think, obviously I had what I call my year of the shmup last year, where I became quite heavily obsessed with them.
Yep.
And I've got bought so many. I need to get through those as well. But it gave me shmup vibes, which I'd never noticed before.
Okay, yeah, it didn't to me, but again, I haven't had a year of them, so
bullet hell maybe vibes.
Yeah,
is probably a better.
Oh yeah, definitely bullet hell kind of thing. But what else? It's.
Well, I suppose we could give a brief summary of the story where you're basically, what are you, a DARPA agent, is it, or something?
Yes. So okay.
The best bit for me is the name of the suit. ARS. Arse. It's John's arse. It's augmented something suit, isn't it? Reaction suit.
So, okay, what's happened is it's the near future, and there has been a coup in Russia, and so the people who have taken over Russia have taken over a satellite in orbit. And when we say satellite, it's not like a satellite like we have. We're talking about a huge ass city satellite. Literally, there is a city on this satellite. It also has a big microwave gun thing, and so it could be used to destroy cities. And you are tasked with the American military to go and stop it. And I shudder to think how many trillions of pounds, dollars, whatever, of damages have been done, because of like over the course of this game to that thing. Like how many years it took to build that thing, because it has atmosphere, it has plants and trees, and there's skyscrapers inside this thing, and it all goes to hell. Like how much money is this? Just
it's the American taxpayer, I presume.
Well, I kind of felt like it's a joint venture between Russia and America in a way. I don't know. There's cutscenes that talk about like the political machinations and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway,
very much a side note, isn't it? The story, really.
Yeah, but it's the actually is it David Hayter who voices the main character?
I've never looked, to be honest, John.
Because I feel like it's his voice. It's not. He's not doing Snake, but I feel like it's David Hayter. I didn't actually check the credits foolishly, and so
I'm just looking it up quickly now. David Hayter. And let's put Vanquish. There's nothing coming up, so maybe it's not. Maybe.
Let's see. Wikipedia, if it has the.
Oh no! I've just seen something about it. Reminds them of David Hayter in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Okay.
So maybe, yeah, maybe not. Then maybe it's just somebody trying to replicate him.
Yeah, because I would have sworn it was David Hayter, but. Yeah.
But it's got Vanquish has got one of the greatest things, or one of the greatest tools in all of gaming. That is the rocket slide.
Oh yes, the rocket slide. So,
which is kind of like its unique kind of. When I remember when they were advertising it, it was the thing. You were just sliding across the floor with your rocket leg boots things,
yep.
And that's kind of what gives it the kind of slickness, isn't it? That you can move from cover to cover so quickly, and
you have bullet time as well.
You do have bullet time, like Max Payne bullet time, and yeah, I absolutely loved that. I still enjoyed every slide. Every slide I did, John, I loved it. I could do that every day. Wish I had some rocket slide boots.
Yeah, I don't know how the heck, because this, how should I phrase this? Like the game, how do people have the stamina to keep going through what they're experiencing this game, or what this guy who's in this suit has to do? You know, he's a machine to keep going with all the things he does.
Like maybe he's heavily medicated,
coked up.
Could be, or some form of upper that they've given him to keep him going. I don't know.
Yeah, because things he does, like the stunts he pulls off.
Yeah, no, it's one criticism I've got of the game, which is not really doesn't really affect the enjoyment for me. It's just that it's kind of samey, isn't it, throughout?
That's the problem. There is a fair criticism, is that once you've beaten the first 2 chapters, I would say, then you've pretty much experienced the whole game. Pretty much. Don't be wrong, there's different set pieces and some very cool ones, but there's no like big changes, and like you'll get no new weapons or anything like that, to my knowledge, or maybe one new weapon or two. Anyway, very little changes. There's no gameplay changes. What I mean, you don't unlock new abilities for your suit, for example. You have everything at the start, so it's not like you've got progression where you feel like you're unlocking and building things up. It's like, yeah, and I don't know, to me, chapters 4 and 5 felt like they had such a huge spike in regards to difficulty compared to the beginning part of the game. Do you agree that?
Yeah, it does get trickier. Even I struggle, but I put that down. I didn't struggle before. I don't remember anyway, but this time I definitely was. I did have more difficulty this time, but it could be down to my aging reactions, brain and hands. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, it's felt like they were just the fact that the difficulty had just jumped so suddenly just felt like it was a way to try and maybe eke out more time in the game, because you're having to redo sections over and over again.
I think I read it was maybe rushed at the end.
So maybe
they were just trying to get out the door.
Yeah.
But it definitely. I think it just needed more variety and in the environments for me, and I think that is my one kind of criticism of it, which I definitely think have had on the multiple playthroughs that I've had.
But I'm definitely glad I finally played this game. So
well worth it.
It feels like it's such a pity that it is not so well remembered. That people just didn't play it, because this game was so much fun. Even with the difficulty spike at the end, it was still so much fun to play through.
It is.
And when you got a game directed by Shinji Mikami as well, when it's Platinum Games, it's you got like a great recipe there for a brilliant game. So
yeah,
if you haven't played Vanquish, you should play it.
Absolutely, and it's cheap pretty much everywhere, and it's well worth picking up. yeah, that it should have done better, and I think it's just unfortunate timing, really, that they released it.
Yep, I think so. It's just as we said, like there was so many third-person cover-based shooters coming out at that time that it was just lost in the sea of them, which is a crying shame.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it doesn't look like it's going to be. It probably struggled to stand out just based off how
Yeah,
it looked.
I mean, if you
It
look at the
looks good.
cover of the game, like the name and the cover art don't scream like it being what it is really.
It
Like,
looks the cover makes it look like a basically a bog standard no effort shooter, doesn't it?
exactly. And what is the name Vanquish, really? I mean, vanquish your enemy, I guess, but you know how.
Yeah, it could have done with a better name, I think, and obviously marketing possibly, and to try
Yeah,
and set it aside from the rest.
maybe they should call it like, you know, the actual title. This is a Shinji Mikami slash Platinum Games game in which you are a rocket sledding shooting machine. I think that might sell better.
Absolutely. So, anything to add to Vanquish, or
I think we've pretty much covered all the points.
it?
It's a game you should definitely play. It's cheap, and sometimes you even get like bundled with Bayonetta, which I've been told is also a great game.
Yeah, definitely.
You can never go wrong with Platinum Games. You can never go
Nope.
wrong with Shinji Mikami. It's just the game has so much personality, and it's. I haven't done any more playthroughs on it. I'm happy with what I played of it, and I had a great time with it. So it's an easy recommendation, and I'm glad I finally played it. You know, I
Yeah,
got around to it, even though I've been seeing my account for how many years without me realizing that I finally, was pulled the trigger and played it. And that's why I like doing the challenges that we are like both in, is to finally go, we have these games, play them, play them.
absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, I think it's my third run through it. It's at least the third time. I
Mm-hmm.
may have played it a couple of times when it came out, but I enjoyed it pretty much as I've done on any other playthrough, and it is for me one of the best sort of third person action games.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And yeah, highly recommended. We're off to a good start this year, John, with
Exactly.
our
Yes.
picks.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've picked our next game for February as well.
Yes, we have.
Are we going to reveal it, or should we wait?
It's your pick, so that's up to you.
Well, should we leave it because it's
Surprise.
definitely more. Well, I will say it's more retro.
Oh yeah,
Certainly more retro than what this
definitely,
is. This might be borderline retro, but yeah, definitely pick up Vanquish. I promise you, you won't be sorry.
definitely.
So I was going to go just before we sort of wrap up, John. And I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned to this before we started recording about, did you have any? We know you've got the 52 game challenge, and you like to do your challenges. But what are your gaming goals? And that means in terms of collecting as well, because I know we're both collectors, really collect different things. But
I mean, I for me now, if I'm picking up games, it's either because it's for say like the 52 challenge, whereas the monthly challenge game, and it's not one that I can get via say Steam. So like I might be picking up if I go to my local CEX this weekend, I might be picking up this month's title, which is Inversion, which was a PS3 360 cover-based shooter.
okay,
With the gimmick being is that occasionally you'll stick to walls and go along buildings rather than like the ground. But it was released for PC, but oddly, it is only for sale in certain regions. And Steam have really upped the ante on like, no, it doesn't matter if you log in a different country. We know that you are from the UK. So we will not let you buy this game. I'm like, for fuck's sake, because it's cheaper to buy it on Steam, but I'm not allowed to buy it. Like, my dad's in Mexico. He said, "Oh yeah, I could see I could buy it." Okay, log as me. I can't buy it. I'm like, anyway. So yeah. So sorry. Back to your original question. It's for picking up games. It's either because it's something like that, or it's I'm trying not to buy too much. I haven't got space for it.
Hmm.
If I'm buying games, it is primarily going to be because it is a homebrew title for something like the Mega Drive.
Okay.
That's that's like what most of my pickups have been recently. Have been homebrew games that I've pre-ordered because sometimes they release it digitally, but sometimes they'll only do physical. And in some cases, it's just cool just to have the cartridge. Or if it's a game that has, like, say, save files, it might just be so that I don't have to worry about the other drivers that are messed up, but I don't want to necessarily take that risk with, say, longer games, for example. So, and beyond that, it's doing the 12 RPG challenge, which this year, as I said earlier on, I'm still continuing the one game per console. I
Oh,
don't think I will continue that next year, but it's just like it's kicking me to play games from a variety of systems that I've been saying for ages I'll do. Like last year, I did Paper Mario on the N64. This year, I will do Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. And because I've been saying for years that I should play Thousand Year Door, but I'm like, no, I will play the first Paper Mario first. So last year to kick me to do this, and then
maybe
so
I'll do it as well. I got it on the Switch now.
yeah, do it. Yeah, exactly. So it's just, whereas I don't really want to do it for next year because I feel like I might start to struggle and will end up playing games I'm not really that invested in just because I want to include the system, if that makes sense. So I might,
Yeah, no, makes total sense. If you can do it, and there's games you want to do, it's a great way of getting through your backlog, isn't it? And yeah,
yeah. And for the 52 challenge, I'm going to try and stick to games that I have not played before because I have had like repeats. For example, Streets of Rage or Sonic, stuff that is like I have already beaten before, but it's like I have beaten again. So I'm going to try and stick to just only counting games that I've never completed before in the past.
okay.
Because Dragonheim is a complete out of ground up remake, and completely different. That's why I counted it, even though I've technically played Dragonborn. So
No, that's fair enough. If it's a remaster remake thingy.
yeah. And then the only other thing is going to be trying to do more of these Mega CD conversions. Like
The Bunday Debs.
some of them, like not the Japanese ones, but the like American ones. Some of them I could just literally knock out so quickly now because as long as there's no music tracks which have to be altered, then it's
Mm-hmm.
just convert, test, burn, and upload. That's it. So like sometimes I can do like 3 back to back in one sitting if I really wanted to. But now I'm getting close to scraping the bottom of the barrel, so I've been less inclined. Whereas then going for the Japanese games where I can just redub them, because so the people who made Ernest Evans, which is Wolf Team, they did a bunch of games in a similar vein. So I was like, oh, I just redub them. But it's then spending the time doing that, and
The
then
Bunday Deb collection.
yeah, we'll see. Yes, and then also I am going to see about also doing an actual translation of a game or some games. We'll see. So as in the text from Japanese. I haven't got the programming skills to insert, say, the English language, for example, the alphabet. But if it's possible to do it, then that's I'm also going to try and do as well. So we'll see.
There we are. Noble cause there, John.
Well, it's just the Mega CD I feel is very underappreciated. So I'm trying to lead the charge of like trying to get a resurgence of it.
Okay. Interesting.
How about yourself?
Number one, I'm going to try and spend less money.
Yeah.
I've not spent anything this far. Well, I have bought stuff, but it's not really come out of my actual money, which I suppose I could have put the money into savings that I've made instead. But no, it's to try and buy games that I want. This is my year where I'm gonna be. If I'm collecting stuff, I'm going to be trying to get more Super Famicom stuff.
Sure.
The odd Famicom game, because the boxes just are amazing, and I can play them quite easily through various different ways. But I think they're actually really reasonably priced to get a box game from the 16-bit era.
Nintendo cardboard.
Yeah, I bought Donkey Kong Country the other day. Japanese. I think it was like less than a tenner delivered.
It's ridiculous.
And it
Ridiculous
is,
compared to what they
honestly, it's better condition than most of the games I've got, from the current stuff. It's just great condition. So that is my collecting goal. And if I'm buying games, it has to be a game that I'm going to play.
Yes, not
And I
just
mean play,
Hey.
not I'm going to play in 20 years. I mean play in the next, intend to play in the near future. So I've kind of, tried to. I think at some point you just buy games just to fill, or you look at something and go, oh, somebody said this was good. I'll buy it then, just in case I can't get it in a year. So I'm going to stop doing that. And I've promised myself not to buy any more PS5 games until I start getting through what I've got. But for me, with the RPG challenge, it's to do. I only completed 4 of the 12, so a third.
4 more than you may not have done.
Yeah, 4 more than Telk. And I think if I can get 6 done or more, I'll be happy.
Yep.
But I think I'll go for, if I'm going to be going potentially, Persona 5. If I can do that this year, I'm going to be very happy. Because that's basically like 5 games in one. It's about 100 hours, isn't it? So if I could do, I'd like to do that this year. I'm definitely on track, I think, to get Meta 4 done. I've bought Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
So that looks great. A friend of mine said it was really good. It's more fantasy setting. I've got to finish Atelier Ryza 2 because I want to move on with the story because I loved the first one so much. I need to give it another go. What else was I really wanting to get done this year? It's going to come to me in a second, John. Got Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh yes,
being re-released, and I really enjoyed that on the Wii U. So when I never finished it, I got about 70 hours into it and kind of dropped off. So I would like to get that done. And if I got those done, I'd be pretty happy. Octopath Traveler.
Okay, yeah.
That is one I want to finish this year. So that's probably like 400 hours a game in there.
Good luck.
Yeah, so if I can get some of the big ones done, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, it's about chipping away.
I'm just playing random stuff in between.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't burn out.
Yeah, and hopefully have some sexy Super Famicom games in the mix as well.
Yep. Who knows? Maybe some of them will end up being part of like what we cover.
Could be. Could very well be. Might inspire me to make some Super Nintendo, Super Famicom choices.
Yeah, you never know.
I think that's it for me.
Cool.
Anything you wanted to add, John?
Nope, I think that's it. So I hope everyone's enjoyed if you've made it this far. And we'll catch you all next time and for next surprise game.
Yes, in February.
In February. It better be.
Yeah, it will. It will, I promise. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next month.
See you next month. Bye.
Bye.